Okay, we are live. Welcome to my two guests, Nasief Morris and Dalyn Deane. Welcome to all the viewers that's watching. We really appreciate your support. Um, Please like and subscribe our page. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers. So Dalyn and Nasief, yeah, just keep on promoting Footy Express. Thank you very much for joining. Do you want to maybe just say hi or I don't think you need an introduction.
I'll leave it to the head coach to start.
I know. Nasi's still got homework to do for tomorrow on training, but thank you. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, Johnny. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Nasief?
Yeah, thanks from my side also again to be on here again. I've been on here before. Obviously, like I told you guys, whenever you need me, I'll always be available. So thanks for having me again.
And I'm very grateful. I think the amount of football knowledge that the two of you have is invaluable. So if there's coaches, parents, kids watching, please soak in as much information as you can. So maybe we'll start off. I think it's exciting for me when I first saw that you guys took over at Cape Town Spurs, just the combination. It was very exciting for me. But I was looking forward to seeing how you guys work together and overcome challenges and going to the new season. Can you maybe tell us, either one of you can start, maybe tell us what your preparations were for this upcoming season, how your preparations went?
Go ahead.
I think obviously last year, me and Nasief, we came in with 5 games ago, which was very tough for us. Although we knew the team quite well, I knew the players quite well. I've worked with them. I worked with a lot of them in the youth development at Ajax. I worked with the rest of them was in the team when we were in the season 2 seasons before. So yeah, I think when we came in the last 5 games, it was basically just to try to get a bit more confidence in the players. Get them to understand that there's certain basic things that we just have to apply. And that 5 games gave us a good understanding of actually where we are with the squad as well. It was tough for us actually 5 games to get the results, to make sure that we try to maintain the franchise. And at the end of the 5 games, we obviously achieved that mandate. Going into the new season, it was always going to be a challenge. The idea was always from myself and Nasief that we need to revamp the team. We need to make the team stronger. We looked at obviously what positions we thought it was key. Also, which players, what type of players we wanted to bring in, which type of culture players with what culture that we wanted in the team. So yeah, from going from one season into the next season, it was always going to be a regeneration of the squad. And as you're aware, we actually had to release quite a few players to ensure that we also get the right, like I said, the right players with the right culture. It wasn't just about the talent; it was more about the culture of the players that I wanted to bring in. So yeah, it was difficult, but I'm happy so far from where we are, where we were at the beginning when me and Nasief started the season. The players that we brought in so far has been fantastic. I think the vibe in the camp is also good. I think plays a big part as well. Like I said, the players you bring in, they set up a good culture in the team, and the culture has been good. Yeah, we had a lot of challenges as well, where we couldn't start with what we wanted to do because there was always new players coming. Trialists were coming in all the time. The team couldn't settle down properly. It's not normal where you have to recruit up to 8 to 9, even more players into a squad. And then it also obviously takes time to build a team. A team doesn't just get built over 2 to 3 weeks. So we're still in the process of that, getting the players to understand what we want to do. So yeah, like I say, I'm happy with the transfer window. I'm happy so for what we've done also in the planning for the season. It's baby steps on my side. It's baby steps. We just want to make sure that the players start understanding how we want to play and the role and responsibilities within in each position. So yeah, give over to Nasief.
How are the? No, you go.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to add on, like to say that obviously after the end of last season, I don't think we actually just had a week or something like that break, me and Dalyn, because we were up and down into the office in meetings, trying to plan like for the next season again, even though we weren't even confirmed that we had the job, but we were already like, it just showed like how we were planning, already like trying to make sure that we start off on a good foot, like for the new season. I mean, we brought in trialists a week, 2 weeks before the preseason started to assess some players, to know exactly where we are, what players we currently had there. And I think when our preseason started, it was good. But like Dalyn said, it was difficult because some players were coming in, so we couldn't stick to exactly to the plan that we had, because all the new players coming in, they need to catch up first. But I think so far so good, and like you said, the character and the attitude, the type of players that we were recruiting, it was important, because we wanted to have a team that's not just on talent, but they can work together, they can play as a team, have a good team spirit and those things, and not having one or two bad apples corrupting the rest. And that is what our main objective was. And up till now, I think we've gone good so far, because the group that we have is actually a very good squad. They work well together. They work hard in training, and I'm sure that they bought into the concept, like what we put out for them already. And that's always important. They need to believe that we know what we're doing and what we want to achieve going forward.
And I think not a lot of people, once you're in the engine room, not a lot of people realize that it's so important to get the right characters on board, because talent, I mean, in my opinion, talent, there's not, in football, everybody can play the game at that level. So now you need that extra bit of character, you need the right mindset for group cohesion. But how important was, from both of the conversations with you guys are coming home at like 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, double sessions, planning. How important is the planning, and how strenuous is it?
I think
Dalyn has been okay. Go.
I think Johnny, sometimes in the world that we are in the NFD, it's a tough world, to be honest with you. It's tough in South African football. People must know that it's a tough thing being in the position that myself and Nasief is in. It's not an easy job where you have the technology and you have the where you can go in and get stats. I mean, with our recruitment process, with COVID affecting us the last 2 seasons, you couldn't go watch any NFD matches. So normally I have a list of players that I knew already in the NFD. The last year, obviously, you couldn't go watch anything. So it was more getting a feel for certain players and players that me and him knew already.
Yes.
So it's just, how can I put it now? Just to make sure also that the planning, make sure that you plan your weeks properly. I think my conditioning guy, and us, we work closely together. We know what is the objective of the conditioning, actually what we wanted to achieve. And then the planning, I sit at night sometimes and I sit here till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and I still think of the training sessions. I think sometimes I don't sleep at night. Sometimes I wake up and my mind is still running. Like I said to Nasief, sometimes your mind runs continuously thinking of things. And then you think about the complexity of the training. You look at the players and you say, how complex do you make training for our players? Because sometimes you can go online, you can find a lot of things, but how does that relate to according to your players' football intelligence? Can I make it very complex, or do I make it easier for them to understand? So I think so far I've kept it quite simple, but I still want to get the philosophy through, the style, the small little elements that I want him to be able to play, to see in the game actually. And as we go along, the complexity will get increase as the players improve their football intelligence. The more I improve the complexity of the training and things like that. So yeah, it's the planning it's non-stop. You can ask Nasief. It doesn't stop actually. It doesn't stop. It's mind-boggling how I said to him, we get drawn so much into the planning and the football part of it. You actually forget sometimes that you have a family. But that is why we're in football. And I'm lucky to have Nasief on my side, to be honest with you. And my whole technical team, they've just been fantastic. So.
Yeah, no, Johnny. Like I said earlier, we don't sleep. It's like a 24/7 thing. I mean, like a normal, we get to the office like 8 o'clock in the morning. Double session in between. We're still busy. Maybe a video session, those kind of things. After training, again, maybe working on a couple of players individually that we set programs for. You get home. Now you have to watch videos of the opponents or watch our own game to look at certain moments in the game that we want to rectify or good moments that we want to show them and moments that we need to improve on. So it's a full-time thing. Like, you're always busy. But I mean, this is our life. Football is our life, and that's why it's easy for us to adapt to this. It's not so difficult for us, yeah.
And not a lot of people, I think, realize how much planning, how much hours, how much effort goes into something like this, into a project like this. But I believe the hard work will pay off. How difficult is, how tactical or technical is the NFD? Dalyn alluded to it earlier. He said it's a very tough league. So maybe just give us some insight into the league itself.
I think, Nasief, you can answer first.
I mean, for me, playing in this league, like, it's a tough league. You need to be physically, firstly, mentally, you need to be tough. Because in this league, it's more just about the fight. Who works the hardest, who runs the most, who puts the most effort in, who wants it more. I mean, in the PSL, it's a little bit easier because it's different there. But in this NFD, it's just a fight, you're going to go away from home. It's going to be a battle, like the conditions, officials, all those kind of things that we need to take in consideration. So that's why our preparation is very important, like with getting the players, obviously, firstly, physically in a very good condition. And then also mentally, we need to work on that side of them as well to prepare them for those kind of conditions, going away from home, playing in Venda in 34, 36 degrees, those kind of conditions. And that's why I say it's very tough. And I mean, only the strongest will survive in this league.
They're very lucky. These boys are lucky to have two fighters from our generation. Our generation, I think we had that grit and that fight and that hunger. Mm-hmm. And they're lucky to have that because you sort of pass it on to the next generation. But Dalyn, how are you guys mentally preparing? That is a topic I'm very passionate about. I think it makes the difference in so many areas. But how are you guys like mentally preparing without giving away too much? How are you guys mentally preparing the players?
I think we went on a fantastic camp. I didn't want to do it too early in the season. I said to Nas, asked him what's his opinion. When do you think we must go? I think we all agreed on the right time to actually do it, and we went on a fantastic camp. When the team started, it was about 85% together. We went on a camp to Grabouw where there was no football, nothing was spoke of football.
Wow.
We went I think we left the Sunday morning and we came back the Tuesday afternoon. But the activities we did there and how the players opened up, how we shared personal information, not only discussing things, how the players, how they reacted to each other, how they reacted to the technical team. It was just awesome. It was an awesome 3 days, Johnny. It was. You'll never believe if you ask Nasief what was actually what went on there at that camp. And just to give you an example, the Sunday when we arrived, we had obviously a lot of team building activities. The evening, we had a nice bride. We got the players to bride for us in groups. And then we decided, okay, we would obviously talking and this, and then we decided to wake them up about 4 o'clock in the morning and take them for a and the nice thing of it was that not one of them complained. Everybody was up. The energy was good, and they were ready to go. And we went at 4 o'clock in the morning. The next morning, and then we came back. Obviously, some of them were like myself. I had to go catch a sleep after that. But I think that whole camp brought us together. That whole camp got individuals to understand each other. That whole camp got the culture was already built there by the camp. The belief was already built there. The trust. Everything just happened at that camp. It was just fantastic. I don't know, Nasief, if you want to add on.
Yeah, no, it was good. I actually had a thought in my mind just about the one thing was that the 4 a.m. in the morning, we planned it. Nobody knew about anything. None of the players knew. So the morning Monday was blowing the vuvuzela outside the tents. Everybody had to get up. But like Dalyn said, I mean, that was a fantastic. Not one player actually complained or moaned to say like it's so early or whatever. I mean, even the next morning, we didn't plan another run the next morning, but they were all asking, "Are we getting up again at 4? Are you getting up again at 4?" So I said, just wait and see like what's going to happen the next day, you know. But I mean, fantastic. Like I mean, the guys started to guys who's not normally socially active, like and talking, like and stuff like that, were opening up to the rest of the guys. It was a way of us like trying to get the guys to know each other a bit better, interacting, getting to know a bit more of them, which was great, like, you know, and you could see a lot, like, and you know, here and there you also pick up 1 or 2 bad habits or something like that, which is nothing major, like, but I mean, it's something for us that we wanted to see as well. We wanted to see the character of the players, the real character, the true side of them, and incredible, perfect weekend.
That sounds so unique and so fresh, and it's such a simple concept, but like from what you guys are describing, brought out so much elements, brought out realness, authenticity, which is what you need in the culture. And maybe moving towards, you guys talked about culture, Dalyn talked about culture and developing a culture, and that can happen. I mean, that happens over time. There was a question. Somebody actually voice messaged me, Johnny Shamal, a coach I used to work with. He voice messaged me and asked, "What is your thoughts on clubs that are just new clubs that buy their way into the PSL, or you know, like clubs keep on changing hands, a culture or a history doesn't get to be formed." What are your opinions on that, or your thoughts on that?
I think my opinion has always been with regarding that. There's a reason why a club owner sells a club in South Africa. There's always a reason for everything. It's easy for us when we sit on the outside and we say, "Yeah, why are they selling the club?" But corporates in South Africa don't sponsor football. There's not a lot of corporates you can look at. So a lot of club bosses afterwards, they invest their own money. And when they look at their bank account afterwards, they see actually how their own personal bank account is actually being depleted by running this football club.
Yeah.
And afterwards, if you ask yourself actually the honest question, I always say this to people, will you take your own personal money and see it and run down in your bank account because of a football club? Yes, the passion is there and everything, but afterwards it drains club owners, and I think that if you look at most of it, it comes at the end. Majority of the clubs that's being sold comes down to that financial thing. Bloemfontein Celtic, Platinum Stars, you go on and you look and you'll see it, all the owners of the clubs, they sell the club because they can't maintain it financially. And it's sad actually, because the corporate world don't invest money in football, unfortunately.
That makes sense. Nasief, your thoughts?
Exactly the same. Like, and I think the biggest problem is mostly, I think, in Cape Town in general. Because I mean, if you go to other provinces, there is always where the government gets involved, they get some funding from the government as well, like in those kind of things. Where in Cape Town, we don't get a cent from anywhere, and I mean, we have to run around look for facilities. I mean, for a playing venue. I mean, that's how crazy it is in Cape Town. Uh, if you go to Joburg or something like that, there's so many stadiums all around. The teams have their own stadium where they're using it. Here we have to run around, look for a stadium or share a stadium with another team, and those are the downfalls I think that we have in Cape Town. Where other provinces they have that help from the government or the council or something like that, and also the playing venues.
Absolutely. And I mean, both of you make so much sense. Looking from the outside, it's easy to say, "Oh, why are you selling your club?" But at the end of the day, it's somebody that's personally putting his own money in, and that's not. I mean, it's not easy to deal with. No, it's fine. She's she's fine. My daughter's also going crazy outside. I mean, to see your money being depleted is not the easy thing. And I think that's what you're saying, and this is it now becomes a social issue. Why is the tap or the the source of funding, the source of money doesn't really come to football, especially in Cape Town, and that is sad. So the source is going through to other sports, and although soccer being one of the most supported in the whole country. So yeah, you guys make a lot of sense when you're saying there's so many other factors and variables as to why people sell and as to why people get rid of. But yeah, sometimes it's a social issue. What do we do then as for development with all the issues that we're facing? Because there was a time when development in Cape Town was at a high level. We know you, Nasief, obviously went overseas. You're a product of Cape Town football. I think we've had this discussion. Me and Dalyn also, our development was very good. We went to Vasco da Gama, not overseas, but in Cape Town. But what do you do if you don't have the resources? How do we find a way around this thing to start still developing high level players? Because I think, I'm not sure if this was fake news, but the Orlando Pirates coach said it's hard to coach a guy at 30 about the proper way of defending, how to how to receive the ball, how to do it at 30. That's supposed to be done at 12. But what do we do here specifically in Cape Town?
Johnny, I just want to go back to your previous question. One thing that I want to say also about football culture. We've never actually tied down this thing of football culture. If you look in Europe and those countries, a community owns a club there. For example, in Manchester, they have Manchester United, but it's in a community area actually that club is actually. And the people in that community, they support that club 100%. Go to matches, and that is something that we as football in South Africa, we don't have communities that is like supporting a club, and I think that also becomes a bit of a problem. Yes, Bloemfontein Celtic is something. I don't think there's any other club in the country that could have that. I think at the time, probably Ajax had it, where people were supporting. Santos had it, where they had their own supporters. And that has also just disappeared. You don't see that anymore. On the next question that you mentioned, it's always, I think if you look back, it just comes down to it's a holistic picture of everything in football that has an effect on each and everything. When I was growing up, I played on a Monday. At school in the morning, I used to go 7 o'clock. Me and my friends who play with a tennis ball, drop tennis with a ball. First interval, we play in the quad, 5, 6 aside. After school, Johnny, before I went to training when I was a junior, I would go play in the park, me and my friends. From the park, we'd go to training at night at Stramfontein soccer field. And that was my day, almost every day almost. And that time, we also never had the best facilities. We never had the best coaching. But it was more for me, it's the hours that you put in. Now, at grassroots level, the players train twice a week, an hour and a half. Play on a Saturday. With technology also taking over a lot of time, or family time, it takes over sports time. It's not only with sports, it's taking over family time, technology and things like that. And the amount of hours that we're actually putting into sport is not enough. And that's why you see there's always a decline in football. There's a decline in the quality of players. There's a decline in the football because people are now more worried about social media and other things that the kids are not as what you see them in the streets playing football. It's like for me the other day I drive past here by Vanguard Drive, by Bonteville turnoff between the Vanguard Drive. There's a big open patch of land. And
yes, the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, we lost Dalyn.
Frozen.
Frozen. Maybe you want to continue?
I mean, we always have this discussion like about how we grew up, like the things that we used to do. I mean, as an individual, if you obviously want to improve yourself, you got a ball. We used to kick against a wall.
Boys are playing.
Technology.
Am I back?
You back?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Am I back?
You back?
Yeah, you're back.
Continue.
Can't hear.
Can you hear us now?
Are you on the Wi-Fi?
Can you hear us?
Can't hear.
Nasief, maybe you want to continue?
Yeah. Like I said, like I mean, trying to improve yourself, like as an individual. Like Dalyn said, like playing with a tennis ball, those kind of things. Like that's how you end up improving your technique, like and those kind of things, your control of the ball and those things, and playing at school during school hours, coming home after school, playing again, and then going to training and those kind of things. Which I think it's exactly what made a difference to our generation compared to the new generation. And also, like I said, the technology. Now you'll rather get the guys who want to play PlayStation instead of like actually playing outside in the road, like actually playing real football. Because I laughed like once, I think I was somewhere doing a coaching thing, and one of the players, I asked him what position does he play, and he said to me, what is it? AM. Which is like on the PlayStation, like an attacking midfielder. And I'm like looking at him, so I said, like, you're not playing PlayStation here?
You didn't know what time is training. That is
Yeah. So, Dalyn, where were you? You were saying about the bridge there by...
sorry. I don't know the internet connection, my apologies. And I see this... And on the Vanguard Drive, I see these guys almost every day playing in between there. I think they created a league now, guys from Langa and guys from Bonteville. And these guys are playing there every day. And I stop there on the side and I watch and I see some talented players playing here. And you ask yourself the question, what if they're looking for a piece of land to play, something is wrong. Something is wrong. They're playing on the side of the road. And now you look at our facilities that the city of Cape Town supposedly gives us. It's always on lockdown. You can't go to the fields. In my community where I come from, Stramfontein, we know they built this COVID thing on the field there. If you go there now at the moment and you look what they did, Johnny, you know, if you look at that field, what they've done to that field, and they haven't even come in the city of Cape Town to fix that fields up. If you go to Rocklands, if you go all over, it just there's no investment from the city to fix facilities, to help the clubs to make football better. But if you look at how quickly they could turn Cape Town Stadium, and I'll say this, how quickly they could turn the Cape Town Stadium into a rugby venue now, invest money in rugby to build boxes. So what was being done for football? I mean, we were kicked out of Athlone Stadium for more than a year and a half. With no reason, no actually reasoning actually why we couldn't play there. It was just said, no football at Athlone Stadium, but the rugby was playing at Cape Town Stadium. So.
No, and I hear you. I think from it's not easy. It's not either or, but we definitely need more funding and more support to flow into soccer. 100%. But I also realize that from what you guys are saying now, when we grew up, we made the most of what we had. So I'm not excusing what government's responsibility is, and I mean the responsibility is big, and in my opinion, they're not doing us justice. But at the same time, if we also just wait for them, then there's a generation that's just going to pass by. So it's important to realize, also just make the most of what we have. Do you guys maybe want to just end off some final thoughts? Nasief, let's start with Nasief.
Yeah. Well, on that topic that you're on like now, that's why I'm eager to try and start my own thing, like where I can get into the development for players. That's why I told you I'm waiting on a venue. So once I have a venue, I can plan something where we have kids coming in, maybe working on them, like in trying to improve them, and trying to get that generation, like into the same like where we were because if you look at after us, there's actually like not real talented players that came through that went to Europe or those kind of things. So we need to get back to that, and it's only us, I think, as individuals, if we take that responsibility and that challenges on to try to make a difference in our football in our city and in our country. So like I said, it's all up to us, like what we feel like we want to do and our effort we're going to put in.
Yep. See?
I think the effort that we want to put in. I also want to say to the listeners out there, people that is listening, I'm available to come and assist with your club, with your LFA club. I don't charge money. I want to put back into the game. If you do want me to come and do a workshop, even if it's just a 40-minute or hour chat on certain aspects of training and development, you can get my number, obviously. It's 082 499 3068. And I'm sure me and Nasief will come and we will bring our technical team also. Calvin can talk about the goalkeeper coaching. We can touch on different topics. Because sometimes, with the courses, it's difficult. It's always a financial thing that also comes up. So if there's anybody listening that would like us to come and have a chat, you're most welcome to contact me. And
what's the number?
My number is 082 499 3068. And you can just pop us a WhatsApp. Obviously, we're very busy. And our programs, obviously, but if it's in the week for an hour, 2 hours, I'm definitely available to come assist where we can. So we're also passionate. I'm passionate about Cape Town football, passionate about the youth out there. That is obviously we need to try to give them the best. We might not have the best facilities, but we can help them actually along to give them the better training and make them understand the game a bit more. Make them understand. I think we always look at our players, but they also not getting the right opportunity and things like that. So, yeah.
So I mean that is brilliant, because you're right. We sometimes look at the players and we expect so much from them, but what are we bringing to the party? And I think for people that's listening out there, obviously know that these are professional coaches that's working long hours, so don't inundate them with calls. But I think the generosity, that generous act is it's very generous for a team to have professional coaches come in and say, okay, this is your type of training session that you have to do, this is what you need to work on. It's invaluable. So thank you very much for that. I think maybe just to wish you guys well. I'm very excited. There's a quite energy about the two of you. I'm very excited to see what you're going to do, and I pray for God's blessing upon the two of you and God's blessing upon the team. So thanks again for joining us. We will chat soon.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Johnny, for having us. Thank you. God bless you too and your family. Thank you, and
Thank you.
Be safe out there, guys.
Yeah.